Hello, this is a quick video for those of you working on a 560 SL 107 chassis. This is a 1986 version. So I've been trying to change out some of the old parts, and some of those included the engine shocks, as you see the top of that one here, and also the engine mount, as you can see there as well. They were worn out and they needed replacing. So I ordered some parts, downloaded a few things from the manufacturers, but some of their instructions were a little misleading, particularly with that nut right there, which is actually what holds the engine mount down and eventually attaches to the engine. The instructions said to go ahead and from the top loosen that nut. And you may or may not be able to see here, but that nut is actually welded to the bracket, so it really does not come out from the top. So it took me a while to learn that, unfortunately, because there was so much grime on it that I could not see, and until I cleaned it, I was able to see that it was not going to move. So the best way to hopefully save you some time, I remove the wheel, and then underneath here, hopefully the light's still shining on it, and you can see right there, there is a small hole or a guide hole where a 10 millimeter hex bolt is holding that bracket down. So again, for those of you who are working on this, you will need a 10 millimeter hex. I ended up using a socket with two long extensions to get in there to loosen that bolt. So once that bolt was loosened, I was able to then get the shock off. And just one note, if you are replacing them, the instructions of lifting up the engine on the oil pan were great. It took a little bit of finagling when I lowered the engine back down onto the new mount. It was very helpful to have an extra pair of hands. I had some help from a neighbor, and then also maybe a small clip. I was able to, once I got the bolt up through, I clipped it up at the top. So as I was tightening all the bolts back together, that helped out. And another helpful point may be is I ended up cutting down, I'll find it here for you, an Allen key. When I was using this tool, unfortunately the ratchet, the sockets did not fit on the back side, the one that's closest to the engine of this millimeter. I think it's a 6, if I remember offhand. The back bolt is very, very difficult to get to. And I noticed if I did cut down my Allen wrench by about half, that it was much easier for me to get in there and go ahead and remove that back bolt and then get it back on. Again, these are the bolts that hold that piece down right there. I think they are 6 millimeter hex. The one that is closest to the engine was very, very difficult to get to, and using that cut down tool was a good way to go. So hopefully this is helpful.